news, U.S. President Donald Trump is set to leave for Hawaii today, a visit that will see him kick off his official five-nation Asia tour. The 12-day-long trip will be Mr. Trump's longest foreign visit and the longest in decades of any U.S. president to Asia.
North Korea will dominate the president's agenda in the region. Mr. Trump's national security advisor, General H.R. McMaster, said the world is running out of time to deal with the North. Amid mounting concerns of the threat, General McMaster said North Korea could be added to the list of state sponsors of terrorism.
Okay, that is an option that's under consideration, and so the president's cabinet is looking at this as part of the overall strategy on North Korea. But a regime who murders someone in a public airport using nerve agent and a despotic leader who murders his brother in that manner, I mean, that's clearly an act of terrorism that fits in with a range of other actions. So this is something that's under consideration.
Tensions on the Korean Peninsula look set to spike as President Trump embarks on his Asian trip. The U.S. Air Force confirmed North Korean reports that U.S. bombers flew over their area. It said they flew through South Korean airspace along with Japanese and South Korean fighter jets.
North Korea claimed they were simulating attacks on its land. Meantime, South Korea's spy agency said Pyongyang is preparing to carry out additional nuclear tests. Active movement of vehicles was detected around a missile research institute in Pyongyang.
Well, let's bring on Giles Gibson, who joins us from Washington. Giles, the Trump administration wants Asia to do more to rein in North Korea. But what is President Trump bringing to the table to convince these Asian leaders?
Well, really, the sense we're getting from the White House is the theme of this trip is going to be urgency, essentially putting pressure on countries, regional partners like China inside Asia to put pressure themselves onto Kim Jong-un and the regime in Pyongyang to really rein in their twin nuclear weapon and ballistic missile programs. When it comes to China, we did get a sense from H.R. McMaster, the White House national security advisor, that they are successfully pushing China to act and to do more.
China is definitely doing more, but obviously it's not enough until all of us achieve denuclearization. And I think what's really essential to remember about China's approach to this is China recognizes this isn't the United States or anyone else asking China to do us a favor. China recognizes it is clearly in China's interest, in all nations' interest, to denuclearize the peninsula, and that's because of the direct threat from a regime like this with a nuclear weapon, but it's also because of the specter of the breakdown of the non-proliferation regime. And what if others in the region conclude that they have to arm with nuclear weapons? I mean, that's not good for anybody. So I think China will, as it always does, act in its interests, but I think this is an area where our interests are really clearly aligned.
Now, really, the sense, despite that sense of urgency, we're also getting a sense of some fear amongst figures in Washington and reportedly within Donald Trump's own administration that there's a fear that after some of the explosive language that Donald Trump has used towards North Korea, that he could also make some explosive comments when he's actually in Asia, and that could trigger some sort of a response from the North Koreans as well.
Thank you, Giles. Giles Gibson in Washington, D.C.